Kelly, you're not allowed to be part of this conversation.
Wanna touchdown in your end zone. You got a reputation in the streets, saying so fine but a cold heart.
Pick 8. I'll grab this one and we'll leave the pick 9 to the old study master there, Geordie. I'm a big fan of if he falls, Micah Parsons. Like what he is, I really believe in him as a guy. What he's kind of done is pretty cool. I know a lot of people kind of have a bit iffy things about him. I just think like he's a guy that can make plays. And if you can, I'm not sold Carolina like want a quarterback at that stage. Like yeah, you can grab Trey Lance, Mac Jones. I'm just not high on them as quarterback. So just get like a dope linebacker in there. Set the defense and just like because you don't need like an unreal quarterback if you've got someone like Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore in there. I get it's nice to have one, but I certainly think that you can kind of wait till later. And I think I have Micah Parsons going earlier at the Falcons. So if Carolina have him here, snap his ass up for me.
I think as well we got to remember that Sam Darnold's story is definitely not written. I'm pretty high on Sam. I think he gets a good opportunity in Carolina, so I wouldn't go quarterback. You don't trade for a quarterback just for the draft then to maybe take the 4th or 5th best one at 8. And the other thing I was going to mention with that pick is like we've had 2 shocking retirements in the last 3 or 4 years, and that's Andrew Luck and Luke Kuechly, like way earlier than expected. They lost Luke, and that hole is so huge, and they're not going to be able to replace him. But if they can find someone to maybe fill a part of that void in a Micah Parsons, then that becomes what it was.
Yeah, so just having a look at my notes, I mean, I guess the big thing there, he was a 2020 opt-out. He had that sophomore season in 2019, which was considered a breakout, 109 tackles, 5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. So I don't think you can go wrong. The character questions that I raised earlier were about his involvement. He's a ringleader in the Penn State hazing scandal. Richie Incognito's still in the league, and this was pretty much the same thing. So, I don't think any teams are really going to knock him down for it. It's a thing, but I really don't think that any teams are going to consider it. The pick at that position.
Yeah. Pick 9, Geordie?
Yeah, look, Trey Lance. I guess people are going to say FCS, and it can come under those comments. NDSU is the powerhouse. I mean, some wins. You could even say that Easton Sticks potentially, carving out a little bit of a backup role. But look, regardless, I mean, the guy rushed 14 touchdowns last year, 1,100 yards. He's thrown the 1 interception, and that was in last year's exhibition game against Central Arkansas. Accuracy is an issue, but look, I mean, for the most part, this guy can do it with his legs. One of the comparisons I saw, which was interesting, was Taysom Hill with arm strength. When you see sometimes how he puts his head down and run early, that's a little bit like Lamar Jackson. But look, I mean, give him a year, and I honestly think the world is his oyster. I don't think a team's going to give him that. But still, yeah, I think I really like the outlook of the kid.
That the chat as well is that you've got Drew. Drew's going to be a long-time backup quarterback. He's going to go through the league. He's not going anywhere. But he's the 4th best quarterback in a division that's absolutely stacked. You've got Derek Carr, Justin Fields, and Patrick Mahomes. You need to compete at the quarterback position. You can't have the 4th best and hope to come out on top.
Hey, he's one of the guys that has the ceiling is there, but you could find very fast, and they'll give him time to develop. But the writing could be on the wall very early, sort of in terms of his development. I can see him being like a Sam Darnold sort of guy that kind of doesn't like set the world on fire at the start, but someone still believes, and his second job might be in a better spot than his first. But that's a lot of projection.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that he's on the opposite spectrum to Justin Fields, where they talk about him being able to handle the multi-read progressions. That's something he does really well. There's a lot of play action repertoire. However, on those RPOs, there's not a lot of hesitation. He's head down, sprints forward. He's got the strength and the speed. But here's the other aspect of it. George Patton is playing hardball, so there's a real chance that he waits to see what he can get at 9. And if Trey Lance is down to him, that could work. I don't think it's going to go that way. I think somebody's going to have to move up to get a quarterback like Trey Lance, because the Patriots might.
Yeah, I'm that whole Patriots quarterback combo is a whole nother combo, and I'm on the other side of the fence of that. Like I could see them, like they could just be a guy, they could just bring someone in, but that's a whole nother story. If you give a guy like Trey Lance the time, he could develop. But if they try to sort of make him start, and the problem is like they don't have a guy there starting right now. It's not like if you went to somewhere like the Patriots where you could milk Cam Newton for a year, you could probably get another one out
Yeah,
of
you
him,
could.
and he could learn off him really well. Like Drew Lock, he's not like setting the world on fire, and you kind of I can imagine, I could see a world where Trey Lance at camp is already pushing for the job, and they kind of maybe push him in the deep end too fast, which could be to his detriment. But yeah,
they would, because that's what Elway does, unfortunately.
love it. 10 Dallas Cowboys on the clock, and I don't think I have seen a mock draft in the world that has not got us taking Patrick Surtain here. I don't think I'm yet to see one. And you know what? We won't take him. One of these receivers will fall, and we'll just keep fucking going offense. And Atlanta 2.0. Yeah, I think with all the talk of quarterbacks and stuff, and a few O-line and these elite receivers, I think some of these guys and these defensive leaders start falling. Patrick Surtain, we play man coverage. We suck at it. We don't have the players to do it. Yet we keep trying. Patrick Surtain's 5-star high school recruit, 3-year starter at Bama, lockdown corner.
Yeah.
I don't think it's hard here. I think it's simple. If I'm the Cowboys here, like if like some of these guys start going, like to secure him, I'm moving up a few spots. Like if I absolutely have to, like that's the guy. He's our quarterback. In terms of everyone moving up to get a quarterback, he's our guy. We just need to start going defense. I know CD last year, cool, was generational looking, and he fell, and we had to go get him. But we need to start making moves on defense. Otherwise, it ain't going to matter how much we're paying and how many yards Dak and stuff are putting up, because we're going to keep leaking them late.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah, we talked about this one during the week.
Right?
It's not hard. It's easy. It's don't get cute with it. Jerry Jones, just shut up and just write yes on it. Adam, who we got in 11 with the terrible franchise known as the New York Giants?
Yeah, the New York Giants, who I think are going to quietly have a very good season with Saquon. I know you won't like that, man, but I think they're in for a big season.
I think that too.
Yeah, I think the choice here for me, it's down to either going Rashawn Slater, because I think Dave Gettleman, he loves an offensive lineman. And if you can just keep stacking that O-line and give Daniel Jones every opportunity, they get Kenny Golladay, so they're sort of set on the outsides, and they've still got Evan Ingram, a great tight end. Saquon Barkley, they don't really need to go offense. So it's either for me between Rashawn Slater or JC Horn. So either the cornerback there. And I think you go tackle and you give Daniel Jones, you give Saquon Barkley every opportunity to succeed this year, back your team around your offense, and then I think Rashawn Slater is definitely the second best O-lineman in the class. It's like a clear 2. So you'd be happy to grab him at 11.
Yeah, I agree with Rashawn Slater. I think he's like I don't think he's that far away from Sewell. I just think Sewell's kind of had the storied story in terms of like only allowing like one pressure. I think it is like this whole year, that sort of stuff. And I know he didn't go up against a whole lot of defensive linemen that were really scary, but like it's just one of those stories that I guess people get behind, start talking, and it just starts snowballing.
Yeah, I mean, say about the Pac-12, there's 2 decent pass rushers in it, and one of them is Penei Sewell's brother, and the other one's Kayvon Thibodeau, and they're both in Oregon. So yeah, look, I really like Slater. He's a little bit smaller, more like a guard, but he's really got the strength to play. Really good 40-yard, 4.84, and look, he can put on a clinic on Chase Young in 2019. So look, yeah, he's the business.
Over to another trash franchise in the Philadelphia Eagles. Jordy, who are the terrible Eagles going to take here?
Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
Yep. I like this. Some would say, that it's similar type to Jalen Rager. Jalen Rager, some did it really hard last year. He's a different player at the catch point, whereas Jalen Waddle's more of that type of Tyreek Hill player. I think the field stretches. I think it's just going to create opportunities for Hurts.
Yeah, I think that makes a whole lot of sense. And like I'm so much higher on Waddle than a lot of other people do. I think we're starting to like sell him quite low now because of I guess sort of out of sight, out of mind, and the recency bias.
Yeah.
I think he could be the guy that kind of starts firing them up. But you've now kind of just gone nearly like you're kind of suggesting that you might want to go all in, but you don't want to commit to him. And Jalen Hurts is a running quarterback, and you've still got Sanders there, and Ertz is as good as gone. God, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Like it's just going to be their defense for me that's just going to let them down. Okay, with the Chargers pick, there's a few sort of ones we could kind of go with here. I don't mind the idea of reaching on sort of like an elite wide receiver, like even like Rashad Bateman. Like I know he's going to fall for a lot of people. Like I don't mind it. Get like Keenan Allen a guy, get Herbert a guy. Now that you've lost kind of Hunter here and Henry, but I kind of think go Christian Darrisaw here. Just grab an O-line, solidify it up for Burrow. Not for Burrow. For Herbert in a similar situation to Burrow. Get a guy, just protect your line. Like I think Chargers now have the hardest piece to draft. It's the quarterback. They've got nice pieces everywhere else. Their defense isn't that bad to the point where you need to go get crazy with it. Just build them a line. They've been kind of talking about it, the GMs and some of the scouts kind of talking about that's kind of where they need to get nice within the draft. And he's kind of just the next best one for me. There's a few other ones, but for me, it's there's the top two, and there's Darrisaw, and then there's kind of the ones like the Cosmes and like the third tier. He's kind of the second tier for me alone, and I know it's not the first tier, but like sometimes you just gotta get the guy.
Yep, I like Darrisaw. Yep, good VT player. Lots of good tape on him. Yep, no reason not to go with him.
Adam Blake, pick 14 to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, so this one's an interesting one, and I think you might have wanted to go Darrisaw if you're still available. Probably would hope there's a tackle opportunity, get that O-line solidified. But I think we know where Mike Zimmer likes to go, and that's defense. And if a guy like JC Horn falls to him at pick 14, I think he's the best cornerback available. They haven't really hit on their corners of late. I know they get Patrick Peterson in the offseason, but I think you go for a guy like JC Horn, who's touted as he's slowly rising to be the number one corner in the draft. I don't see them going quarterback, and I just don't think any of the other players aren't a position for them. And we know Zimmer likes cornerbacks. And there was some news this week about one of their corners playing up. So I think it just gives them every other excuse to pick JC Horn there at the number 14.
Yep. Huge JC Horn fan. If you want to get an idea of what his players, put the name of South Carolina versus Auburn. Perfect example of it. That's probably the best way to describe it. But yeah, fantastic player, great pick.
Yeah, I like the pick. If we look back to my mock drafts from last week, I, funnily enough, had Christian Darrisaw going 13 and JC Horn going 14. So this is exactly where I think they'll go, and this is where I think they should go, and the teams that they should go to kind of fill needs. So, yeah, I fully agree with those picks. Now we get to the interesting one, because we all know the Patriots love to draft correct and draft by the book, right? And they always get their draft picks right. Insert N'Keal Harry joke here. Adam, where do you think we go with the Patriots here?
Well, that's tough. You make me go back to back.
Yeah.
This is a real. I don't think they go wide receiver. I think they spend too much capital in the free agency bringing guys in, and there's not really one worthy of going at the 15th spot. I really think that their team is going to move, especially if Trey Lance falls past 5 and before Broncos. I think they move up to get a guy like him. I don't think, like personally, I'm not taking Mac Jones here. He's not the right quarterback for that system. or just to be picked in that spot. So I guess for me, I'd go next best available, and that's Christian Barmore, one of the only interior defensive linemen in this draft at this height of the draft. So I think you just go best available. Defense. There's probably room for Trevor Mooring to go there, the safety, after they lose Patrick Chung. But I think Christian Barmore, they'll go there.
Cool. I like it. I'm kind of just never out on what the Patriots are going to do. I never even try to predict it. Like, they're just going to do what they're going to do. And 9 times out of the 10, they're going to get it right. And the one time they don't, they'll fix it the next year. Pretty easy. Pick 16 to the Cards, Geordie.
Yeah, look, I had really been hoping that JC Horn was going to fall to them. I really thought he was going to be a good fit with Advanced Joseph's system. They're looking here, cornerback, IOL. I'm not really a big fan of taking Elijah Vera Tucker this early. Then we're basically looking at, cornerback. So, he's probably a good opportunity for Caleb Farley. He does have his risks associated with him, but, at the end of the day, he's potentially the best cornerback in the draft. And at this late, maybe he's a steal.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I think he's one that's kind of falling just because of the injury sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He had a back injury, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, back injury, yeah.
The only problem with that is I don't know, that shit just hangs around for me. It's I can see why they would go there, and his draft capital without that would probably go there, but injury kind of worries me, but is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's another one who's got great example on tape. 2019 Chase Claypool.
Big facts. Hold up. I'm just gonna resume recording. All right, Farley goes there. Now we've got the Raiders up at 17. I think.
Matt. Let's go.
Do you double down and grab reach on a receiver just because Ruggs sucks, or are we gonna kind of hang on to the Ruggs train? I don't mind the grab Jeremiah Owusu here. Don't mind it. Kind of fills the need, I guess, in terms of what they need. Linebacker, their defense. To be honest, they kind of got holes all over the field. And I'm not entirely sure how they're going to fill them. Don't mind it. Big dude, 6'2", 216, out of a good school, Notre Dame. Nice defensive school, but again, they come kind of from a conference where I'm not a big fan of many Notre Dame people just because of the conferences that they go up against. They don't really play. They play cupcakes, to be honest, apart from their 1 or 2 out of schedule games that they get, and then they kind of just need to gear up for that one game. I don't mind him. Big dude, big scary dude. They got rid of Khalil Mack. Regrets, but I think they need to start securing that defense and work their way up. When the Raiders were the best Raiders that they have been was when Khalil Mack was absolutely destroying offensive lines. They need to start getting some big scary dudes and start putting some heat on some O-lines. Otherwise, they're just going to keep being continuing to bad because Derek Carr's showing he can't be a guy that can carry a team to it. So they need to work black hole, Oakland sort of Raiders, yuck footy defense first. That's kind of where I think, and I don't mind taking that early. I'm a firm believer in just get your guy, draft capital. If you want to trade back and you still think you need him, sure. But who's reaching? It's not fantasy football. Just grab your guy and make your team better.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Raiders really have a plan. It's messy out there. They've had